Good evening. As is the custom, we will begin the dinner with saying Tehillim. I would like to call upon my fellow Kollel member, Rabbi Shlomo Huberman, to lead the Tehillim, followed by Achenu. We will be having in mind Achenu B'nai Yisrael in Eretz Yisrael, and the fires in Los Angeles, and B'chol Mekayim Shahim.
Shalom Aloy, Sasoin Aile Horim Yayin Yavo Ezri. Ezri Mimadino Yosei Shamayim V'Oretz. Al Yitein Lamoy Jaglecha, Al Yonum Shemirecha. Hine Lo Yonum V'Lo Yishon Shemer Yisrael. Adonai Shemerecha, Adonai Tzilecha, Yad Yeminecha. Yoimam HaShemesh Layakecha, V'yoreyach Baloyla. Adonai Yishmarcha Mikol Yishmar Es Nafshecha. Adonai Yishmar Tzeischa V'yecha, Me'ata V'yad Olam. Shir HaMa'alos Mimamakim Krosicha Adonai. Adonai Shema V'Koili Tien Oznecha Kashuvos L'Kol Tachanunai. Im Avonos Tishmoyo Adonai Miyamoid. Ki Yimecha Haslicha L'man Tivorei. Kivisi Adonai, kivisa nafshi, v'lidvarai haichalti. Nafshi l'Adonai mishemirim laboiker, shemirim laboiker. Yachel Yisrael el Adonai, kim Adonai hachesed v'arbei moifidos. V'ho yifdes Yisrael, mikol avoinosav. Achenu kol beis Yisrael, nefzunu b'atzor v'ashiv yoindu b'yem b'yam b'asham okim yirachem aleyhem v'yitzim Yitzchak l'rvacha me'afil yer mishiv l'gula hashta b'golav v'zman kariv v'neimar amen.
Welcome to the Kollel Merkaz HaTorah annual dinner. My name is Peretz Byron. I was born and raised here in Los Angeles by my illustrious parents, Rabbi and Mrs. Usher Byron Shlita. Baruch Hashem, I am privileged to be a member of this very special kollel. I have endless hakaras hatov to the Rosh Kollel and to the Anhalas HaKollel for providing me with a place where I can learn and grow, and for their care, support, and guidance in all areas. I'm grateful to have the opportunity to be the MC at tonight's dinner, honoring Mr. Aryeh and Mrs. Judy Goldberg. Our connection goes back to well before I joined the Kollel. Aryeh and my wife's family davened together in Chicago at the shul of Rabbi Yitzchak Isaac Small, brother-in-law of Rav Moshe Feinstein, Zechariah Levracha. It's beautiful that our families continue to grow in the Avodas Hashem in the same Beis Medrash. The pasuk tells us that the caravan of Yishmaelim carrying Yosef down to Mitzrayim was carrying fragrant spices. The Medrash explains, this was not the standard cargo of the Ishmaelim. They usually had items with an unpleasant odor. Here, in honor of Yosef, Hashem arranged that they should have items with a sweet, pleasant smell. Many ask the obvious question. Yosef had been Berumah Shel Olam, the top of the world, learning with his father, Yaakov Avinu, all of the Torah that he learned in Yeshiva Shem Ve'ever. And then suddenly, he was cast down to the lowest place possible, sold by his brothers into slavery, heading down to Mitzrayim, known as both the lowest place of spiritual impurity and as a place where no slave had ever escaped from. At that time of unfathomable darkness, would it really make any difference to Yosef if there was a good smell or not? Reb Chaim Shmulevitz Zatzal, the Mirish Yeshiva, answers that this seemingly minute detail actually transformed the entire picture. In this situation, Yosef could have fallen into yush, into despair. It seemed that Chas v'Shalom, Hashem had abandoned him. At that moment, Hashem was sending him a message. I'm making something happen, sheloi kederech hateva, completely unnatural, to show you that not only have I not forsaken you, but I am holding your hand and leading you. Just as HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Yaakov Avinu, Anochi eir imcha Mitzrayim, v'anochi a'olcha gam aloi. I'm going down to Mitzrayim with you, and I will bring you back up. Meaning, while you're in Golus, I will be there with you. In short, it wasn't about the good smell or the foul smell. It was a message of comfort and strength that Hashem is with you through all of your troubles. Klal Yisrael, both in Eretz Yisrael and throughout the world, going through tremendous difficulties. We try to be nice to Ba'al, to feel their pain, and to daven that Hashem end all of our tzaras and send us a salvation b'karev. We are taught Ma'isa Avos Siman Debanim. What happened to our forefathers is a sign for how things will be for us. In this situation of terrible tzar for Klal Yisrael, where are the pleasant scents telling us that Hashem is with us? For me personally, what makes me feel HaKadosh Baruch Hu's special hug the most is the kollel. That there's a place where Avrechim spend the entire day immersed in Limud HaTorah, where remarkable Baal Batim come to learn in the kollel, early in the morning, or dedicating their entire morning, or their afternoon. And so many come after a full day of work, some even coming straight from the office for Limud HaTorah. And that tonight, we have Baruch Hashem filled the hall in support and appreciation of your kollel. All this is our hug. The bracha of these opportunities and the personal and communal devotion to Avodas Hashem are both a tremendous part of the sweet smell that Hashem is sending us, telling us that He is right here with us. May we be zeiche to see the fulfillment of the end of the pasuk, V'anochi a'olcha gam aloi, that Hashem will lead us out of this golus, b'karev, b'mehera v'yameinu amen. Thank you so much for coming. Please enjoy your dinner. The brief program will continue after dinner. We all have tremendous hakaras hatov to our Sagan Rosh Kollel for his learning, teaching, and everything else he does for the kollel, and for setting up and arranging the tremendously successful Baruch Hashem Night Seder program in the kollel. At this time, I'm honored to call upon the Sagan Rosh Kollel, Rabbi Gedaliah Shor Shlita, to give us an update on the new building, followed by an introduction to the video and presentation to the honorees, the Goldberg family. After which the program will conclude with remarks from the Rosh Kollel Shlita.
Good evening, friends, guests, all of you who so graciously have come here tonight to show the deep care and connection that you all have with the Kollel. My name is Gedalia Shor, and I'm privileged to be a son-in-law of Rabbi and Rebbetzin Graydon and a part of the special Kollel. It is so meaningful to see all of our dear friends, fellow Mispalalim, Chavrusis, Boye Beis HaMedrash, those who frequent the Kollel Beis Medrash, our dear friends that support the Kollel, every single one of you that have come tonight to join us here. As I look around the room, I'm so inspired. I can't tell you how much chizuk this gives to all of my fellow Chashav Avreichim and their families. The Rosh Chabur Rabbi Denishevsky and his family, the Meir Hira Rabbi Adler and his family, and especially to my dear and entire in-laws, Rabbi and Rebbetzin Graydon, soll sie gesund sein. To be able to continue the Avodas HaKodesh of learning, davening, teaching, guiding, and so much more. A big Yasher Koyach to all of you. My tefillah and hope is that we should be zoche to all of the brachas of the Torah, the support of Torah. And we should all be zoche together to mekabel pnei Mashiach Tzidkeinu b'meheru v'yimeinu amen. Before the honorees are introduced, I'll take a moment to update you on the much awaited for new building project of the Kollel. We have seen tremendous siyata d'shmaya. B'chaste Hashem, we have received all 4 variances which we had applied for from the city of Los Angeles. We are currently in the detailed drawing stages of the new building. We have already negotiated the contracts and selected the contractors that will be helping us with these drawings, and the work has already commenced. The time frame for completing these plans are about 3 to 4 months. After that, we hope to submit the plans to the city for the final approval. Unfortunately, the time frame for the city to respond and to give their comments and final sign-offs is an unknown. We hope, Be'ezus Hashem, to break ground in the not-too-distant future. Thus far, our fundraising for the new building has had tremendous success, as many are very excited and looking forward to the addition of this beautiful Beis Medrash, and look forward to the Kollel having an even greater impact on our community. You can see the beautiful design and plans, the dedication opportunities for the new building in the brochures that are on each table in front of you. At this moment, I would like to express our deepest and most heartfelt thanks and appreciation to our dear and true friends, Mr. and Mrs. Mikey Horowitz. Mikey and his wife, as most of you know, have been involved with the Kollel from even before the Kollel began. Their commitment, their loyalty, and their vision for the Kollel is absolutely astounding. Specifically with the ongoing building project, Mikey spends a huge amount of time and effort, day in, day out, to see this to completion, Be'ezus Hashem. They should be zoche to much continued bracha, gesund, nachas, and parnasa. This week's parasha, Parashas Vayechi, is considered a parasha stuma, a closed parasha. Why is that? Rashi says that since Yaakov Avinu was nift in this parasha, the eyes and the hearts of the Jewish people closed up. This was the beginning of the terrible tzaras, the terrible long galus, the galus of Mitzrayim. It is interesting to note that Yaakov Avinu, as we know, is the Av that lived a life full of galus, full of challenges, full of chashchus, darkness, and hardship, away from his father's home, fighting with Esav, with Lavan, Shechem, the loss of Yosef for so many years. And now, finally, he will live the last 17 years of Toiv, the last 17 years of his life in peace, in Shalom and Nachas. Just as the Torah is telling us that Yaakov Avinu had the last years of his life, Vayechi Yaakov Shva'aseh Shana, the 17 years of good, just at this very point, we are also taught there is the beginning of another long galus. It's the time of Nistama Einam V'Libam Shal Yisrael. Why? What can the message be? I think it's simple. Yes, Yaakov Avinu was the Av that lived in galus, and they showed us, all the future generations, how to manage and how to flourish in galus. Yaakov Avinu also represents the Torah Kedosha. Titein emes Yaakov. Yaakov is the Ish Tam Yoshev Ahalim, the one that represents the Torah and Torah study. The message is clear. The Torah is telling us, by having Parashas Vayechi as a Parashas Stuma, exactly at the point of Yaakov's most peaceful years, despite that Klal Yisrael as a whole were just beginning the hardest galus, Yaakov is zocheh to the 17 years of Tov. It is possible to live a life of peace and shalom. It is possible to live 17 years of me'ein olam haba, even in galus. But how is that? Vayechi Yaakov, one who lives a life of Torah values, connection to the Torah in a real way. He will have or, he will have light. He can flourish and grow. He will have true meaning and happiness in his life. We see around us now a world turned upside down, a world that can be very scary. Rockets flying, more and more threats, anti-Semitism, fires raging around us, literally. But this is for sure. The message is very clear. The only thing that will sustain us, the only way to have true bracha, the only way to keep strong is through the Torah Kedosha. And with that, we can merit Vayechi Yaakov. Our honorees tonight, our dear friends, Mr. and Mrs. Arya and Judy Goldberg, represent just that. They have been true friends from the start of the Kollel. With all that goes on, with the many different things they are involved in, they consistently demonstrate how the Kollel and Torah learning are the main focus of their lives and who they are. Arya has kept a kvius of learning in the Kollel ever since the very beginning. He has joined with his boys different learning ayarchei kalas in the Kollel, and they have davened with us on Yom Neiram and Simchas Torah every year since. The ruach of the davening and learning at the Kollel is something that they value dearly and take true pride in. May they be zocheh to continued bracha and nachas from the beautiful family Be'ez Hashem and all the bracha that comes along with the Torah. Please turn your attention to the screen for the video presentation in honor of the Goldbergs. Thank you.
I was thrilled to learn about the establishment of the Kollel during its early days at Beth Jacob, where my family was a member at the time. I began attending shiurim, including those given by Rabbi Gordon and Rabbi Adler. The welcoming atmosphere of the Merkaz HaTorah Kollel makes learning accessible. It's very easy to have casual chats, ask a shaila, or debate a hashkafic topic. Whether through my learning at the Kollel or through the hashpa'ah of the Avrechim and fellow Kol Balabatim, I've strengthened the lens through which I live my life and raise our children.
Being involved in Torah learning is a core value for our family, and our engagement with the Kollel has provided a wonderful opportunity for Talmud Torah and spiritual growth.
For as long as I can remember, my father has had a chavrusa with Rabbi Younger on Sunday mornings at the Kollel. My dad exemplifies what it means to make Torah learning an important part of our lives.
Aryeh has an incurable courage of conviction which demands that every idea we learn be integrated into his life and worldview. In this way, our learning becomes a bedrock for Aryeh and his family and his ultimate goal of helping all of Klal Yisrael.
Rabbi Graydon wisely paired me with Rabbi Younger many years ago. Through our chavrusa, Rabbi Younger and I have become good friends, and our wives have as well. Together, we delve into the intricate details of the sugya, while also applying our studies to our daily lives My learning with Rabbi Younger has been among the most significant experiences of my life.
I've had the privilege of attending Rabbi Graydon's Shiurim for Women. His words are always profound, prompting me to think deeply and reflect. I appreciate that the Shiurim attracts a diverse group of women from various parts of our community, allowing me to engage with those I might not otherwise have the opportunity to connect with.
Rabbi Graydon effortlessly blends the dignified presence of a traditional rabbi with the warmth, compassion, and insight of a close friend. He's approachable when discussing personal matters, providing profound wisdom and practical advice, drawn not only from his own experiences, but also his extensive knowledge of the Torah and his understanding of the individual that he is engaging with. As a result, I've developed a close and trusted relationship with Rabbi Graydon, and my 16-year-old son Ilan has had a close bond with him since he was young. In fact, Ilan considers Rabbi Graydon his Rebbe.
A memorable moment for me at the Kollel was when I became a bar mitzvah. I received my first aliyah there, which was significant to me due to the strong relationship I had built with Rabbi Graydon over the years.
And the Avrechim joined him in dancing. It was truly a beautiful simcha. This provided Ilan with confidence and a sense of belonging.
For many years, I've had the opportunity to daven with my father at the Kollel on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. I remember in 4th grade when my father took me to learn at the Kollel's Yarchei Kala in December. It was a very special moment for me.
A highlight of my year is the annual Yarchei Kala in Eretz Yisrael. The chizuk I gained from the learning, the discussions with the Gedolim, and the camaraderie with role model Balabatim are unparalleled. My wife is a real superhero for never hesitating to give me the space to attend each year.
One event that we always enjoy together is Simchas Torah at the Kollel. As the boys dance and celebrate the Torah, I happily chat with the warm and welcoming Kollel wives.
My sons Noam, Ilan, and Eli have greatly benefited from their Kollel experience. Noam is currently in the Hesder program and in his 2nd year at Yeshivat Har Etzion in Eretz Yisrael. Now that Noam is learning in Israel and no longer davening at the Kollel, the Avrechim regularly check in with me to see how he is doing.
I see how important the Kollel is to my family through the impact of my father's involvement and the growth and enjoyment my brothers have experienced.
Ellie has given up time spent with me, knowing that part of my responsibilities are the time I spend learning at the Kollel.
Aryeh and our boys have each developed their own special relationship with members of the Kollel, who have greatly influenced their personal growth and development.
As I get older, I'm looking forward to spending more time learning with my father and the Avrechim at the Kollel.
Learning with Aryeh has always felt like a continuation of our family's friendship, almost like finding a cousin that I never knew that I had.
During my time with Rabbi Graydon, Rabbi Younger, and the Avrechim, I've gained a clearer understanding that life's simple purpose is to grow closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome, and thank you very much. It takes great courage to be here this evening. There's a lot of things happening. And I see that the Olam comes with a great sense of calm and a great sense of gratitude to the Kollel that is really very heartwarming and gives us a lot of chizuk. As each year, I do have to begin with some thank yous. That which the Gemara says, that Peischin b'chvei Achsanya Tchila, one should begin thanking the host. Here, thanking the host is all the people who are putting themselves out for this event and throughout the year for the Kollel. First of all, I'd like to thank the ladies who've been running this event, this particular event tonight. That's, of course, our own Mrs. Tali Merowitz. Ms. Chana Beichman, Mrs. Marilyn Rich, a lady called Sandy, and several other people who are putting themselves out all the time. This, of course, Mikey Horowitz and Moshe Rottenberg have been
not just instrumental in the running of the kollel throughout the year, but very involved in this evening and preparing such a beautiful event. To my dear colleagues, Rav Danishevsky Shlita, the Rosh HaChabura, Rabbi Adler, the Morero, Rabbi Shor, the Sgan Rosh Kollel, and to all our Avrechim. To Mrs. Sarah Gertel for running an outstanding ladies program, which is the pride of the community, in which we have literally scores of women on a regular basis attending shiurim that not just are informative, but are life-changing in their presentation. I'd like to take the opportunity to say thank you to Errol and Pat. As you know that they are retiring, this is one of the last events which is still connected to their ownership of this business. They have always been very kind to us, very thoughtful, and we're very grateful to them. And we wish them much luck in their retirement. To Schwartz Bakery, who always provide us with the dessert, which will be served after the end of the speech. After the speech, we will have benching, Ma'ariv, and there will be desserts available. Last but not least, by any means, is to, in a very brief word, inadequately, to express my thanks to my wife. Who I can literally say has sacrificed everything for this kollel and for many other things. I want to share something very important with you. It's critical. The great Mashgiach of Lakewood, Ramatesyahu Salomon, Zechrona Levracha. It's hard for me to say Zechrona Levracha. I knew him for over 50 years. He was a teacher of mine for over 50 years. Told over the following story. Please listen carefully. I think it was his own experience. It could be he was saying over from somebody else. That's not important. That he was somewhere, and he was sitting with a young man, a Hasidic young man with several children. The man had light coming out of his eyes, and he had a tremendous purity on his face, and his children were like little angelic malachim. And for whatever reason, he asked the young man what the young man's background is. So the man told him he's from a secular kibbutz in Israel. This was in Eretz Yisrael. The man responded to him by saying he was born and bred on a secular kibbutz, and he was chayzer b'tshuva. Matisyahu was shocked. The purity and the kedusha that lay on this man's face was made him more likely to be the son of the Chavetz Chaim than to have been born in a secular kibbutz. What's the story? So the man told him the story. The man said that he had a problem with improper things. This was pre-internet, but looking at improper things, engaging in improper activities. And he used to travel from his kibbutz, from his moshav. He used to travel to one of the big cities. And he would go to a store which provides material for these type of people. And as he gets closer to the store, he gets more excited and more happy and fulfill his dream to pick up things that are terrible destruction of the neshama. He doesn't know, he's a secular person, has no idea. As he's walking towards the store, there's a man coming down the hill wearing a huge hat and a big beard and a big black coat. And as he approaches the area where this store is, he turns his head to the side and runs at full speed to be immediately out of the area of this store. He was completely overwhelmed. He said, "What's happening here? I'm running to the store, and he's running away from the store. Where's he going? Doesn't he understand that this store has something to offer for him? Where's he running?" So I don't remember whether he ran after that person or he found another person. And the other person explained to him that there's a neshama, the neshama is pure, neshama comes from the Rabbeinu Shalom, and it's being tainted and destroyed by these type of activities. He had no idea what hit him. But anyway, the long and the short of it was this story, that he ended up being chayzer b'tshuva shleima and purifying himself completely. I want to explain to you how he did it, because how he did it is the essence of what a kollel is. There are two psukim in Sefer Bereshis that define a community kollel. One pasuk is, Vayetze Yaakov mi Beersheva, vayelech Harana. We all know the Rashi. The Rashi says, why did you need to say that Yaakov was Yotza mi Beersheva? If he's going to Haran, he obviously left where he was. So those words are unnecessary, and the Torah is very careful with words. What are they doing there? So in one pshat, Rashi says, to tell you that Yitzias Tzadik min ha'ir, when a righteous man leaves the city, Pana Ziva, Pana Hoida, Pana Hadara, the beauty and the glance and the spectacular light that was in this city disappears with the disappearance of this tzaddik. That's one pasuk. Then there's another pasuk. The pasuk says, "Ves Yehuda shalach lefanav goishna," that as Yaakov was descending to Mitzrayim to live there temporarily, he sent ahead his son Yehuda to establish a yeshiva, so that before they come already, there should be yeshiva there. I want to point out to you two things. Yaakov, according to many opinions, when he left Beersheva, was after the 14 years he spent hiding in the yeshiva of Shem ve'Ever to avoid being caught by Esav. He was incognito, nobody knew who he was. He wasn't involved in the community whatsoever. So what does it mean that when he leaves the city, the light and the beauty of the city disappears? He was irrelevant already beforehand, as far as other people were concerned. And what does it mean he's going to establish a yeshiva in Egypt before the Jews come there? When they do come there, so what's a couple of guys will go and learn in the yeshiva? How's that going to help? What's it going to do? How's that going to change the overall picture? So let me tell you, the most important fact of life that a Jew needs to know, and it's mavur in the Talmud Dvorah and other heilige svarim. When a person performs Torah and mitzvahs, and the most important mitzvah of all mitzvahs is the mitzvah of Talmud Torah, whether we're able to learn 1 hour a day or 10 hours a day or 4 hours a day, every word of Torah is a separate positive commandment. Every word of Torah is just an unbelievable accomplishment. If a person learns Torah lishma, or close to lishma, he's sending out kedusha waves. We have sound waves, we have this waves and the other waves. There's something called kedusha waves, that they go out and they hit the neshama in the heart of the next person. The closer the person is to you, the more he's being affected by what you're doing. The further he is, the less affected, but nevertheless affected. Kolzman Yaakov was in Beersheva. He was a generator of kedusha, and the light and the purity and the sanctity of his words encompassed in these galei kedusha left him and impacted everybody in the city. Didn't matter whether they knew who he was, where he was, it's irrelevant. And so when he left, that stopped. And when the Yidden came to Mitzrayim, Yaakov Avinu knew their only hope is to have a generator that will be working 24/7 in the Beis Medrash. However many people will go, but it's a place which will be constantly creating positive vibes and Kedusha vibes. And it's going to reach people's heart. Let me tell you something. There's a Medrash in the Medrash Tanchum in Parshas Bereshis somewhere. Famous story about two sons who had a father who unfortunately was an alcoholic. And they were trying to help him, and they walked in the street, and they saw another alcoholic rolling in the ground in a very disgusting manner. So they thought, oh great, we can show our father what he looks like when he loses himself. So they pointed to the father and they said to the father, Tata, cook, take a look. This is what it, and they said it respectfully, but this is what you look like. You have to stop. So the father nods and walks with him. 100 yards later, the father says, excuse me, just 1 second. The Medrash says, and the father picks himself up and runs back to the man lying in the street and says, which liquor did you use to get such an experience? Because looking and hearing that something is wrong doesn't help. I repeat what I said. You can't change a person by looking at him and saying, look, this is bad and this is difficult and this is hurtful. It won't help. The addiction and what he's used to doing is too powerful. But if you can pierce his heart, if Kedushas HaTorah enters his heart, then he can be a changed man. Our friend from the kibbutz, it wasn't that when he saw the person run away that he was just astounded and he thought it's something to investigate. That's true, but that wouldn't have worked by itself. The Kedusha generated by that person running with full strength to avoid contact with that store, that Kedusha pierced the heart of our friend and produced a Kaddish in Yisrael from a Tomei to a Kaddish. That's the greatness of the Balabatim who understand why a kollel is necessary. Why do we need a kollel in our area? Why does everybody need a kollel? Even the people who don't step into the kollel. Because we need to protect ourselves and to strengthen ourselves. And in a shul, there's Kedusha that comes from a shul, and there's Kedusha that comes from a mikveh, and there's Kedusha that comes from a kosher butcher. But the maximum Kedusha that can be generated is from Talmud Torah. And that's the wisdom and the strength and the great courage of the Balabatim who undertake to support these institutions in order that we can maintain our strength so that B'Karav we can accept Mashiach Tzidkenu. I want to thank you all. We're partners. We're real partners. This is not just a term, it's not a fundraising term. It's a real term. We're partners. Because we can't do what we're doing without you, and you can't do what you're doing without us and the people like us, not exclusively us, and the people like us. All the strong communities in the world today have kollelim, have beautiful mikvos, have beautiful schools. All of this is what's going to support us. It's going to give eventually the bracha that we should be released from this terrible galus. To think daily that in Eretz Yisrael, Rabbi said, daily they're still burying people in Eretz Yisrael, daily. Daily around the world there are issues of anti-Semitism. Now we face fires in Los Angeles. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu will be merachim. We, Klal Yisrael, have paid the price, we've paid our dues, and we're determined, and we're not giving up. Nothing is being given up. Nothing is being surrendered. Every moised is strong and will become stronger. My bracha is you should all see nachas from your families. You should all be well and healthy. You should have fine parnasa. And we should, Mirz Hashem, be able to have this, have this dinner next year in Yerushalayim Kodesh.